I mean, I just think folks have to articulate what a different vision of policing looks like, because what we're doing is not working. It is not making our community safer. I mean, and I could pull it up. The dang things are so hard to read anyway. But like, oh, here, never mind, I'll pull it up. I mean, here's the police's performance statistics. And we've talked about this before, but like, I think it's worth pointing out, like, half, not only half of our residents say they feel safe. 70% say they're satisfied with quality of policing services. But then when you go down and look at like crime rates, like percentage of property crimes cleared by arrest, prosecution, or other means, the police only solve 28% of the most common crimes that we have. That means 72% of all property crimes go, like, they never find the people. So I just think, and like, we all want less crime. So maybe we should ask, like, why are people stealing stuff? Why are people, why are we having these issues? And maybe start addressing some of those instead of doubling down on police that only catch 28% of the crime, or of the people committing the most common type of crime. I mean, they do clear a higher percentage of person crimes, but it's still a lot that go unsolved. But I encourage people to check out this page. I mean, just Google OKC budget. You can look down at all the departments, their performance metrics that they follow. I mean, I would argue we should probably change some of this. I mean, even 911 calls. I mean, because a lot of calls don't get assigned priority one, so it's like, there's a considerable percentage of calls that they don't get to in 10 minutes, basically. 73% time they do, but 27% they don't. Yeah, there used to be one where they who is reporting this? 43% of residents reporting they feel safe in downtown. 43%. Like, where are these surveys coming from? How often are you to downtown? Never felt unsafe in downtown ever, basically. It's funny. Who are you getting these survey results from, people? Yeah, other cities that have been successful. So one of the programs that we're talking about funding here or looking at is one called the Denver Star Program. I'm not ultra familiar with it, but it is a mental health alternative program that's seen success. I mean, my issue, and I'm probably a little further out, certainly, than a lot of people on this, is that, everything, it's like, to do an alternative, we have to be so careful. Like, we have to spend years studying it. We have to try all this different stuff. But yet, to do the thing that we know doesn't solve 70% of the crimes, leads to absurdly high numbers of deadly incidents. It's like we can keep funding that. We can pour millions more into that. But like an alternative program that would be like far cheaper, or like pump the brakes, pilot it first, really look at it. I mean, even though, there are other countries, other states that do this sort of stuff frequently. I just find it very funny that we are so cautious about like a mental health response team that will go out and deal with someone who's experiencing a mental health crisis unarmed and, in a non-police response format, which means we're taking that work away from the police. Like, this isn't like a thing of where we're like taking money from the police and then keeping their workload the same. It's like we're literally just shifting, y'all don't respond to that anymore. So it's like reducing their workload. It's taking away their 911 calls so they have to respond to. I mean, it's like police really should be for this if they had a brain and weren't just total bad faith actors in most cases. But anyway, yeah, we're talking about pilot program, 300,000, modeling something after like the Denver Star Program, or there's another one in Oregon called Cahoots. And again, these are supposed to be alternatives to policing for these issues. it's a good start, but they need to go so much further, especially given how bad our problems are in Oklahoma around police killings and police violence, and then incarceration. One funny thing the city's been doing that they'll laud as like a great success is they've been dealing out municipal fines. They've created this program whereby, like, if you have a bunch of municipal fines, so like parking tickets from, the city and all that, and you can't pay them or you're having trouble paying them, you can like go to the city now and say like, hey, I can't pay this or I'm having trouble. And they'll just, I don't know if they just wipe it out or reduce it a whole lot. But anyway, they'll work with you in order to like keep you out of the system, to prevent you from having to like go back to court a bunch or go to freaking jail or something stupid. But it's just like, it's the lack of like understanding that this is like a circle of life type situation. It's like, maybe this is crazy. What if we don't police really petty drug crimes and even property crimes? That it doesn't make sense. Like if you're stealing from the Dollar General to feed your kid, maybe we don't prosecute that and find something else that will fix the problem instead of giving you a fine and making you show up at court and running you through this like circle of life of death, really. So it's like this like sort of like craziness to me that you could stop it on the input side. Like you just have the police stop criminalizing all this stuff and pass policy that says like Bill City, and I don't know if they've continued it, but I mean, the previous police chief said like, we're not going to pick people up for marijuana anymore. Like we're not, if you just have, a basic amount of weed, like we're not going to, like we're decriminalizing it effectively. I don't know if they still do that. Maybe. I really don't know. I mean, but like more stuff like that. Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. We live in a country where the only way they know how to do things is be punitive. Absolutely. If you have a hammer, you see everything as a nail. Yeah, I mean, the Oklahoma County Jail, which, again, the city is trying to reduce the load on that because they share with the whole county our jail. Like the municipality shares with the county the jail. And it's so overcrowded and such a disaster. They're trying to get people out of it. And so, I mean, like the city is constantly trying to invent new creative ways to like not take as many people there. But they won't address policing, which is like the first step in that process. And so, yeah, I mean, there's so much they could do in the budget, reallocating, moving resources that would improve that. And we're just going to be getting a small piece of it. Is where it's at right now.